Hey, it's Jay, and today is my birthday. I am turning 20 years old, and I thought that I would help you guys get to know me a bit better with a Draw My Life video, or at least the first 20 years of my life. I want to apologize in advance. I am not an artiste. I cannot draw a straight line with a ruler to save my life, and so please forgive the horrible pictures that will be in this video. My mom is from Houston and my dad is from Miami. My mom went down to Miami for a job, and that's where she met my dad. Then they moved up to the Woodlands, and I was born on March 5th, 1999. I was born with brown hair, but 3 months later it fell out and came back in blonde, which surprised my parents because my dad was blonde when he was 9, but my mom has never had blonde hair, and so it didn't even occur to either of them that I would have blonde hair. And when I don't have colored hair, I have blonde hair, and then in the sun you can see I have red tint. When my mom was 6 months pregnant with my little sister Autumn, she and my dad found out that Autumn's brain wasn't developing correctly, like it wasn't splitting at the brain stem correctly, and so after about 56 minutes after she was born, she passed away. I was 18 months old and I never got to meet her. A little bit before I turned 3, we moved to Denver and my dad got a job, but shortly after he got that job, he was laid off for 3 years. So we sold our house and we moved in between Port St. Lucie with my paternal grandparents and Riverside with my maternal grandma. It's there that I started kindergarten for 3 weeks and I got my first computer. Only a few weeks into kindergarten, my dad got a job at Boeing in Seattle, and so we moved up to Seattle, Washington from Riverside. We lived in a hotel for about a month, and it was during that time I didn't go to school. Then we got a rental house from kindergarten to February of 2nd grade. I remember it was specifically February because we were having a Valentine's Day party at the same time that doubled as my going away party for some reason. We then bought a house in Maple Valley and lived there till the end, from the end of 2nd grade to the summer after 10th grade. And it was summer before 3rd grade where I got my cat Alicia, who frequently appears in my videos. It was in 3rd grade where I met Calypso and a friend named Kirsten. Kirsten and I are no longer best friends. We're friends at all, we don't speak. She broke up with me in 10th grade. So in 2008 I got my first DS, and in a few years before that my dad and I had started playing different video games on the computer, such as Half-Life 2 specifically. I would sit on his knee and I would play through it and make him do the scary parts. I wanted to be a whole bunch of things when I was little, like a jockey, an ice skater, etc., etc., but I wanted to be a fashion designer from about 7 to 12. 5th grade, I guess I wasn't meeting like the standard for reading or something, and so my teacher recommended to my mom that I start reading this series called Fablehaven, and my reading obsession then got its kickstart. It was probably summer between 6th, 7th grade or something like that, where I discovered Taylor Swift. It was the 2nd day of 7th grade where I went to my first concert ever. It was Taylor Swift's Speak Now concert, and my dad taught me 4 chords so that I could learn how to play You Belong With Me, and that was the first song I ever learned how to play on the guitar. And my mom said that when I was playing guitar, she had never seen me more alive. So after that, I started writing songs, poems, short stories, novel, eventually want to write a screenplay, and my first song was like 2 minutes long, and the name was so angsty for a 6th grader. It was A War That Was Lost. I don't know why it was so dark, but we'll never know. And I also started I showed you a video where I made Sims 2 music videos for Taylor Swift songs. It was really embarrassing. I made like 100-ish of them. Now, when I was about 9, we moved my paternal grandparents into our dining room, and at one point or another, we had 3 of my 4 grandparents living with us. When I was 14 in 8th grade, I met my 3rd best friend, JV. Well, now he's my 2nd best friend. He was in my science class, and we were working on this project together, and we just clicked. And 8th grade was also the year I got the idea for my YA urban fantasy series. I don't remember how old I was exactly, but I have this vague recollection of watching, just like absorbing different political shows on MSNBC from my parents, and so that's how I got into politics. When I was in 10th grade, and I was 15 years old, I got my first boyfriend named Paul, and we were together for about 3 months. And in October 2014, I found out that we might be moving because my dad Boeing was going to move a project he was working on to somewhere else, and my parents didn't want us to move there, and so my dad had looked for new work. It was about around that time where I started developing anxiety. A day after we were done filming a project for English, I found out that we would be moving to Orlando, Florida. In summer 2015, we went to Washington, D.C. with Calypso, and we were lucky enough to be there the day that same-sex marriage was legalized, so that was an amazing privilege to have. A few weeks after we got back from DC, we moved to Orlando halfway through high school, which was about 3,200 miles. It was there that I met Anna, who had just moved from Pennsylvania a few weeks after I got there, and I met Crew, who's in several of my videos and who is my youngest best friend. Junior year, we had a rental house, and it was 2 blocks away from the son of my grandma's best friend from college, and they've been best friends for 60 years, and her grandson, who I call Bryn, went to the same school as me, and we even had the same house number. It was ridiculous. But we were in a rental house for about 11 months, and then we bought a house near the University of Central Florida. And in February or March of junior year, I started questioning my sexuality, and after a little bit of research, I discovered that I was on the asexual spectrum, and I had just turned 17 when I discovered that. And then the 2016 election happened, and I had my worst anxiety attack up to that point. But luckily, Bryn was there, because we had been dating for a few months at that point. But we did break up the first day of February of 2017. Shortly after I graduated, I started my YouTube channel, and on May 31st, I uploaded my first video. I had a really bad summer after I graduated, but I did get to fly up to Seattle to watch JV and Calypso graduate. I visited them for a week, and then in August, Calypso flew down to visit for about 18 days, and we went to Universal, and we just hung out. About a week or so after Calypso flew back to Seattle, I started college at Florida State University in Tallahassee, and I didn't know anybody. I knew of people from my high school that were gonna go there, but we weren't friends or anything, and so I knew no one. But then I met this girl who I call V, and she was from Spain. I was in the dining hall, and I saw this one girl, and she looked non-threatening, and so I introduced myself. And after making myself come out of my introvert shell, I started joining a couple clubs. I joined FSU National Organization for Women. I was a member, and then I was the LGBTQ plus caucus chair spring semester my first year, and then I became the vice president March my first year, all through this past November. I also joined the Pride Student Union Public Relations Committee, and I helped create the first literary and art magazine. I was set to graduate a year early, and I released my first, technically, official non-studio album called Slow Burn in October of 2018. Just because I was set to graduate early didn't mean I am, because my depression, which started, I can trace symptoms back all the way to 8th grade, but I realized that in 9th grade it made me not like fall 2018. I don't know if it was the classes or I was just having several crises at once or what, but it was bad enough where my mom was like, you should come home for the spring semester and take it off, and so that's what I'm doing. And after heavy deliberation, considering various factors, I decided to transfer to the University of Central Florida and do online classes, work part-time, and write as much as I can. And at this point in my life, I am currently working to found my own publishing company, my own LLC, so I can self-publish. I know it's going to be called, and I will share that with y'all in a little bit. And I'm just waiting to finalize things, and it should be done around the time this video is getting uploaded. And right now I'm working on my second album called Feel My Age, which will be released in June. I'm working on redesigning my website, working on editing my work in progress, which I'm hoping to self-publish early this next year. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to everyone who has ever subscribed, liked a video, commented, anything. I love all of you so much. I really appreciate all of you, and I hope you like the content I have in the future, because I really feel like 2019 is going to be my year creatively. So if you like this video, or you haven't already, Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I upload Wednesdays and Saturdays. Over here is my previous video, and over here is the playlist for miscellaneous videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.